Hello, hello, it's me, Philip James, and I'm fresh out of the bottle. Hello, hello, it is Philip James, and thank you for coming to my party. Thank you for coming to my party. Today I'd like to share with you a really exciting adventure I undertook recently. A couple months ago I was approached by a friend and drag performer who goes by the name of Princess Jafar. The goal? World domination by performing in two places at the same time. What is a supervillain to do? Well, of course, recruit a doppelganger, like me. Princess had been booked for TQ Live, which is the queer night at the Andy Warhol Museum, and in Bushwig during DragCon weekend in Brooklyn, New York. And we thought it'd be a really great time to have me perform as Princess Jafar at the Andy Warhol Museum here in Pittsburgh, and for her to perform in Bushwig that weekend. So super exciting, super big stunt. Wasn't sure what to expect. Had several hours of pretending to be someone else. We were the only two really in on the joke, so it was really fun to kind of play with that and do something a little different outside of my comfort zone. The journey all started by me researching her looks on social media, videos, at Princess Jafar on Instagram. And I was going to be lip-syncing to the song Daddy, which is available in the Daddy EP on the Bandcamp app for $2. Go in and check out her music, some really fun, quirky stuff. So I wanted to maintain like a girlish look, Daddy, but also kind of stick with the Princess Jafar aesthetic, so super villain. So the palette was going to be black and pink. I started my makeup by first cleansing and moisturizing, and then applying a thin layer of Milk of Magnesia to my face as a primer. Now bear with me. I've heard this little trick. It dries very chalky, but once it's covered with foundation, you can't see it. And it works by keeping the face from producing oils and helps preserve the life of the makeup overall, which is great for drag performers anytime you're sweating. In order to give the drama of Jafar, I needed to partially cover my brows using a glue stick and a light colored pressed powder from Wet n Wild. Here you can see I was just cleaning up around the edges, make sure there's no gooey glue stick parts hanging out on the end. And the light powder helps set the glue as well as give a little bit of color coverage. Now, I had to do multiple layers of this. Obviously, it's been edited down so you don't see all the nitty gritty, but I have to keep going back and forth, powder between steps, brushing off the excess. You get to see how well covered it is once you brush it off. I then followed up with the famous e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer to blur my pores and give me a smooth canvas to work with. This is great for foundations to grip. Using a combo of Wet n Wild Photo Focus Liquid Foundation in the color Peach Natural and the Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation in the shade Light Neutral, I covered the bottom half of my face while the glue is drying. Then, using the Kat Von D Shade and Light Cream Contour Kit, I started to contour the lower half of my face, blending as I went. I do tend to crease pretty quickly, so I wanted to go ahead and set the lower half of my face with a translucent powder, and then reinforcing all of the cream contours with powder contours from the Dulce de Leche Contour Kit by Wet n Wild. Now that my eyebrows were finished, I went ahead and continued the same process on the top half of my face using the combination of foundations, Cream Contours translucent powder and the powder contour kit. Now it's time to do the eyes. Using Tarte Shape Tape, I went ahead and primed my lids, and I carved out the area where I intended to sketch out my villainous eyebrows. This is a great trick to help keep both the arches on the same trajectory. Then, using an eyebrow pencil, I drew in the outline of the brow. There are many products that can be used here. I just went ahead and used an old school eyebrow pencil to kind of get the shape in there. You can clean it up later. There's no real need to be super neat and precise. And there are many products that can be used to fill in the brows, but as I don't have any pomades in the color black, which is the color I was going for, I simply used an e.l.f. brand gel pot liner, which is, just standard run-of-the-mill gel liner. Then setting it down with translucent powder and going back in with black eyeshadow to kind of reinforce the colors. To begin the eyes, I used the Kat Von D Divine palette, which is limited edition. I like the black shade Hard Magic because of the fact that it does not produce a lot of fallout. I wasn't having to worry about it getting down onto my cheeks, despite the fact that I did have some translucent powder there to catch anything that would fall. Bringing the shadow up onto my brow bone, I created a new crease. To blend out the black and give my black and pink fantasy some color, I used the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette. The first shade was Cavity. To create a better transition, I then dipped into the shade Root Canal to bridge the gap between the two colors, finishing the highlight of my brow bone with the shade Glucose. Now here comes the tricky part, getting the liner on my eyes. I used the Kat Von D tattoo liner in black and just going ahead and trying to sketch out the architecture of the wing. I have a lot of wrinkly skin in the corner of my eye, so I'd like to fill it in with like a gel liner and then a black shadow over top to kind of go ahead and seal it all in. As you can see, I'm taking the liner down underneath my eye and creating a larger eye look, filling in the negative space with the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Liquid Lip Drug Lord. Nobody's perfect, so as you can see, I'm using a little bit of the Tarte Shape Tape to clean up the edges and just really give that wing a nice sharp edge. Once I've laid down the liquid lip in the shade Drug Lord, which I mentioned before, going ahead and using that Glucose to really set it, and then going back and just kind of really reinforcing the work that I've already done, cleaning up the outside of the edge with the black. Now it's time for some rouge. Using the shade Dare to Soar by Wet n Wild, I'm giving my face a healthy dose of color all over the places where I place my contour color. Absolutely no drag look would be complete without some false eyelashes. For the bottom lash, I used a wispy pair And for the top, I went for some drama by using a dense lash with a tapered flare at the edge. And of course, a healthy coat of mascara will help to blend my natural lashes into the fake pair. Princess Jafar is known for having very large, cartoony lips. So, in order to give myself the same effect, I'm using a dark nude lip liner by Wet n Wild and going ahead and sketching it out, filling it in a little bit just to give it some lasting staying power. Then, using the Wet n Wild liquid lip shade Nice to Fuchsia, I'm going to go ahead and fill in all that lip space, really covering all of it, leaving just the slightest edge of the liner showing. Then, I'm going to use the Jeffree Star Velour liquid lip shade Diva to go ahead and highlight the center. And then, to give it a little bit more of a highlight in the center, I'm going to use the shade from the Blood Sugar palette Sweetener to tap along the center.
If you want to come to me, baby, you can always come up to my bedroom. If you want to come from me, baby, you can always drop in my Venmo. Daddy,
Even if your truth is a lie. Okay. Princess Jafar, y'all.
to come to me, baby, you can always come up to my bedroom. If you want to come for me, baby, you can always drop in my Venmo. Daddy's never coming home. Got to pay the daddy's home.